the cloud. Okay, guys, so I'm back. As you guys know, again, rebuilding my life. There's going to be a couple of hiccups, but that's okay. Today, we're talking about breaking generational curses. And in the interim, I want to let you guys know I found this little top. It's like a little sweater thing, but I created an ensemble with it. So, real quick, it's a beautiful Black woman on one side, as you guys can see. And on the other side, it's like free, civil rights, resilience, courage, strong, equality, blues, history, but it should say her story, you understand? And culture and a bunch of other stuff. So I just wanted to point that out real quick because whoever created this top, I love it. And I typically would be rocking my, big afro, but I love this wig so much. I love these colors. I love my lips with the wig because it matches totally. I don't even have to put on the earrings. I just have the top earring right there. Nobody's gonna see, the ears. So I'm just hiding it with the hair. Hold on, let me give it a little more body, right? Okay, very good. So we're just going to talk very briefly about breaking generational curses, fam, and what does that mean to all of you. So this is not my typical time. I know there's not going to be a lot of response right now, but because I just saw something on Facebook and I reposted it, I said, why not talk about it before I head out this afternoon with Baby King? Literally, fam, a lot of times in our families, and I've kind of been talking about this a little bit, but I haven't gone 100% into detail due to the fact that it's a heavy topic for a lot of people. And a lot of people may be like, Anaya, you're bugging. Like, where do you get this information from? First of all, my ancestors. Second of all, I'm Haitian American. So, like, this thing with generational curses kind of is in my family, in my lineage. However, it doesn't mean that I have to keep it there. So, with that being said, and for all the spiritual people out there, let's talk about it, right? You guys are in the church, you know about Jesus, you know about, the spiritual things that occur in our families. But why is it that as a community and as a people, we allow certain things to manifest in our lives, in our futures, in our present lives, in the situations we're trying to overcome, in our business based relationships, etc.? Why do we continue to let things manifest? So that is why the generational curses continue. Let's talk about breaking generational curses. I'm putting that out right now on the groups and things like that. And also, I want to hear from you guys. Talk to me, right? Because a lot of you have significant ways of breaking generational curses. Mind you, I want to also share that in breaking generational curses, it's not just Black families. White families go through this too. Hispanic families go through this. Hello, LJ. Welcome, welcome. All sorts of people go through this. But what I've found in Black families, and I'm going to say it blatantly for those that can't hear me in the back, there is so much inner fighting between the Black families as well as the Caribbean families. And I don't want to say that's just all because of the slave master, because a lot of people are like, Anaya, you're so racist. I'm not racist. I'm a realist. There's a difference. Okay. I'm just calling out the BS. I'm calling out the truth. So, because of what we went through as a Black people, predominantly those that are of the Caribbean descent, African descent, Black descent, light colored Black folks, we all have what you call experience PTSD one way or the other when it comes to trauma from our ancestors. And what people don't understand, family, and I know it's only like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, a lot of people don't want to hear, but I don't give a damn what you want to hear because I'm going to say it anyway. But a lot of people are not privy to an understanding is these things, they go on from generation to generation unless they're broken, unless they're talked about, unless they're exposed. You know what? Speaking of exposure, speaking of breaking the generational curses, I have had generational curses in my family that I did not even know of and was not privy to until recently. These past couple of years has been so eye-opening, has been like this awakening for your girl Anaya A. Because here I am, always serving God, always in the church, running away from my ancestral stuff because it was just too scary to know certain things. And the whole while, these things are on my back, like we're still here, we're not going anywhere. Again, I don't blame 100% of the slave master, but I do blame the slave master a whole lot But what I also blame is the family members, those that are in our predominant circles, those that know certain things about our own families, such as neighbors, people in the community and things of that nature, that continue to perpetuate that hate that causes so much dissension in our communities and in our families to this day. So what people have to understand is that if you don't expose it, if you don't talk about it, first of all, it festers in your spirit. It causes mental illness, physical illness, spiritual illness, financial illness, emotional illness, you name it, it's going to cause an illness. But the biggest one, I think, out of all those illnesses, I think is physical illness. How do I know? Duh. I've held on to so much pain in my life for so long. The generational curses already were a thing that I never acknowledged. But the things that were happening around me as a young girl, as a young woman, that I had no control over, that I didn't know how to stop because it was like always something bad happening. So what did I do? Just keep my mouth shut and run. Run, 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 run. Run away from the problems. Run away from the pain. Run away from the tears. Run away, run away, run away. And then when I had a chance to sit down finally, because I couldn't run anymore with the job that I had, that thing that was inside of my spirit that was festering for so long manifested into this rare medical condition that literally almost took me out of this world. Now, oftentimes we see people that have different medical issues, and we wonder, how did you get that cancer? It's not in your DNA, it's not in your family history. How did you get that liver condition? You know, you've drank a couple of beers, but you should not have a whole decaying liver. How did you get this problem if you're not up in age, that is? If you're a younger person and you're dealing with a lot of, medical problems, there's a reason. Also, there's a reason why people end up with a lot of mental illness too when they are not checking the issues around them and they're too afraid to talk about it. Because oftentimes, when you do start speaking out, people label you. They label you and they literally make you feel less than. So then you become afraid and then you want to run and you want to hide. Trust me, I've seen it happen. But today we're going to talk about breaking generational curses and how do we do that. So, number one, identifying the problems, right? Let's identify the problems. Let's see, all of these are immune diseases. Absolutely. LJ said it. She hit the nail on the head. And what are autoimmune diseases? They're basically things that formulate in our bodies that we have no access of knowing what they are. Number one, because they're like kind of in secret. They come out in ways that we don't even understand. I have an autoimmune disease, aka a physical illness that you can't even see physically, because not only were the doctors able to get the water out of my system, but what happened was with me, and I can share publicly because this is something that I love to talk about to educate my viewers, because at first my doctors thought I actually had lupus when I was sick, right? So they never seen a young person at that time. I was only 25 with a condition like mine. My lower extremities started to swell up. My legs couldn't do anything. I could not walk. My legs were swollen up so bad that when you would touch my legs, the like touch or the I want to say that place that you put your finger or fingers or what have you would swell up for 2 to 3 hours straight up with no desire to go down, because what I developed was what you call pitting edema, which was why my body couldn't let the fluids go the way it should, which affected the kidney. When you have all of that backup water and all the stuff that's in your body that should be released in a toilet somewhere or whatever, guess what happens, fam? Your body starts to clog up like a sink or like a toilet. There's nothing being released any which way, which obviously I used to poopy and all that stuff, but it was the urine. There's something about the urine when it's not released properly, it backs up, and then all those toxins and those things that are not supposed to be in your body, they flood your system and your body shuts down. So that's the best way I can describe pitting edema, a pulmonary embolism, because when everything started to back up and things went haywire, fam, you know what happened? I developed yet another issue, which is the nephrotic syndrome. So that's nephrotic syndrome, pitting edema, excuse me, and the pulmonary embolism, which is the blood clotting. And it went straight to, I want to say, the blood clotting of the lung shut down my breathing, and there you have it. That's why I died and came back to life twice, and all of those things. Why? Because I never spoke out about my issues and my problems. When I would hear things or see things that were not cool, things that were happening to people that I loved the most, I ran. When my cousin was murdered and I was supposed to go to the funeral, but I already had plans to go to Trinidad and Tobago, I took that flight to Trinidad and Tobago. I stayed there a month. I was not trying to see my cousin, my favorite cousin, the love of my life, my best sister, like that I never had, that I wanted as a sister. I did not want to see her in a coffin. My other cousin died, and instead of like going to the funeral and seeing him in a casket and things like that, I decided to drink myself into an oblivion. So when it comes to the problems that we see and we face, oftentimes we don't want to face it because obviously it's too painful. But why am I talking about this today, fam? I'm talking about it because number one, I'm healing every day in every way. But number two, there's so many of you out there that sit there and you drink yourself to oblivion, you smoke yourself to oblivion. You don't want to face the realities of life, which is okay because the realities of life are very toxic and strange and so unforeseen and demonic sometimes and evil and wicked. But what I'm saying is talk to somebody and get that healing because generational curses will continue from generation to generation. Obviously, that's why it's called a generational curse, but you don't want to see your lineage suffering the way you have. And because I have to go, I'm going to close it down early. Here's the other thing about generational curses, right? The spiritual aspect and the attack that we have on our backs or the attacks that come, they don't go anywhere until you face them, until you say, enough is enough. I want my life back. I didn't ask for the drama. I didn't ask for the pain. I didn't ask for this bullshit. I want to be freed from all of this mess. Until you have the strength to confront it and literally say, enough is enough. I don't want to do this anymore with you, aka the things of the past, then you're never gonna really be free. It's like in a relationship, right? It's like when you're in a relationship that's toxic, you know you deserve better. You know that you want to be freed. You know that you can have that sexy person that you want, that brilliant person that you want, the person that everybody probably wants, but they don't have access to or what have you, because that person is really a special person that doesn't mess around with everybody, because that person ain't no hoe, that part, because Anaya ain't no hoe, that part. But let me say this. I'm gonna give you guys a perfect example. Mind you, look at how the little car matches my little ring and my clothes today. I love it. Oh my God, King's little car and me match. Okay, so years ago, just a few years back, just so I can give you guys an example of what I'm talking about, right? A few years ago, this very idiotic, toxic bastard came into my life and things like that. Mind you, it was like the weirdest thing. I'm gonna call somebody out, Mr. 10 foot. I'm calling out 10 feet today because he the one who introduced me to this toxic, idiotic bastard who thought he was running something. So this toxic, idiotic bastard, thank you, LJ, I appreciate you, boo. This toxic, idiotic bastard who came into my life literally tried to sit there and pretend like they gave a damn about your girl and I. And like a lot of these bastards do. They come into your life, they know the type of person you are, they know what you're super into, so they put this facade on like they care and this kind of third so that you can sit there and sleep with them or be with them or be their old lady or whatever the hell it is that they have you under, right? Or like named or whatever. And so the reason why I talk about it, and Mr. 10 foot is calling now. Stay right there. So 10 foot, was like, let me introduce you to this dude, whatever, whatever. He's a good guy, whatever. So this guy who I didn't even know from Adam was like hitting me up all the time. This lasted for like a good 4 years, fam. A good 4 years in my face, hollering, blase, blah, whoop de whoop. Now, the only reason why I would see him is because he worked with 10 foot. So they worked together, and 10 foot was like my doll baby. Like that was my heart. He knows it. He still knows it, right? So my doll baby, 10 foot or whatever, was like, yo, son, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is good. People's just kind of third. And I'm like, I don't feel it in my spirit that this is a good situation, right? Do you know that the dude that I'm referring to couldn't get me no other way? So he started using like witchcraft or like using some stuff from the Santeria people, the Botanica. that part. You might ask yourself, Anaya, well, how do you know that he was using stuff from the Botanica and wasn't it like a relationship that you wanted? First of all, hell to the no. If I turn you down for years and months and days and weeks and months and years and days, why the hell would I finally give you a chance? So one day, as we were in the vehicle or we were walking or something, I smelled something on this asshole, and I'm like, what the hell is this? But because of my Caribbean background, it's no secret that Caribbeans dibble and dabble in different things, but I haven't because I don't believe in dibbling and dabbling in extracurricular things when I have Jesus on my side. But oftentimes, God, in His merciful ways, will allow certain things to happen to His children to see if we're so faithful enough that we are going to resist the devil and flee. So, family, when I smelt the stuff, and I want you guys to be aware because that is affiliating with generational curses. Just because your family's into certain things, just because friends that you know are into certain things, that doesn't mean you have to be into it. I don't need this crap in my life. So when that man was using the stuff that he was using and then also trying to be some kind of, big pimp spending cheese, not understanding that I'm accustomed to bigger pimps spending much more cheese and I'm accustomed to having my own bag. I just was going through a little series of issues at the moment. So how dare you try to belittle your girl Anaya A? Make me feel less than. And then not only was he married, which at first I didn't know nothing about family because here's the bottom line. I don't deal with married men. And then for me to know your wife and she's a nice lady, a smart woman, a good woman. And I never put any information out there because I was like, how did Anaya A end up in this madness? This is not my life. But wait, here's the worst part of it all. Do you all know it wasn't his money? This bastard didn't even have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. And he had a sponsor, fam. A sponsor to take your girl out to eat. A sponsor for the little activities that we did. A sponsor at what age? It wasn't even her money. He was smarter than that, fam. Oh, honey, homeboy was smart, smart. He had his best friend sponsoring everything. And I was shook. Because as you know, when people are married, even when you don't know they're married initially and they spend in the bag and they acting like they got it and everything like that. Damn, let me tell you, I was so shook because it wasn't even her money. He couldn't leave her because he told me she just made too much money for him to leave and that divorce would be nasty. And I was like, I want out. But he kept using that stuff on your girl Anaya A until finally I said, enough is enough. And I took my power back. Not only did he have a whole other grown man sitting there and sponsoring our little fling thing, but guess what, fam? He had the audacity and the unmitigated gall to have other side hoes. These are generational curses that you females, myself, and others need to break off. Because at the end of the day, when I realized what was going on and the messiness that I was inflicted upon and being in, I literally was like, F you. I'm not gonna say that word here, but I was like, F you, you dirty bastard. I'm out. I don't want nothing else from you. Don't even call my phone. Don't do nothing because you are so disgusting. You are a piece of garbage. Not even garbage, garbage. You're dirty. You're disgusting. I want nothing from you. You are not only a traitor because you already knew that I have feelings for somebody else to begin with. Then you come in with your little nasty, weaseling self and you do this kind of crap. And on top of everything else, it's not even your money. It's not even the wifey money. It's all a homeboy's money. It's a homeboy's money, fam. So again, These are things that we have to discuss as Black women, especially because oftentimes we are struggling and going through certain issues in our lives, and these men act like they care. Because again, like I said, we started off as friends, we were cool. He knew a lot about your girl Anaya A, right? But he took my kindness for weakness and he tried to take me for a run. And guess who don't do that very well? Your girl Anaya A. Don't play with me. Fam, take your damn power back. Again, let's start off. We are born into situations sometimes that is beyond us. We don't know why God allows us to be born in certain families and certain situations. But once you are able to identify situations and problems that you're facing that's beyond you, that you don't like, that is not pleasing to you, and you know you have a bright future and you know you're going somewhere, you cut that thing off. And just like a cancer, you go ahead and you identify the problem and you make sure that you're able to remove that problem from your existence and your life. Because at the end of the day, cancers fester. Just like certain spirits, just like curses, just like those things that you don't want in your life. So I say that to say, identify the problems, call it out, be a badass if you have to be. When you know something is not pleasing to your spirit, your soul, your mind, you know how to take a stand. And you be strong enough in your mind and your physical state to take action and keep it moving. Because at the very end of the day, if you deserve better and you know you deserve better, then you know what, fam? You gotta do what you gotta do to create that pathway that you deserve. And not only that, but the other people that is around that's wishing on your downfall, curse them back to the pits of hell where they belong. Because trust and believe, oftentimes we don't fall into these situations. And I want to be very clear. I gotta be very clear with a lot of you because I'm a very spiritual person. Don't worry about my background. Don't worry about my family, about all that stuff. You're gonna find out more later. But let me tell you something, family. Oftentimes we don't just end up in these situations just because God is allowing us to go through a test and all of that. How do we get there to begin with? How do we end up in certain circumstances? You gotta believe some people are praying for our downfall. Some people, and I'm not gonna hold you, and I gotta talk about it today. If you like it, oh well. If you don't, oh well. Whatever it is, I don't care. Some of us are literally being attacked by demonic forces because there are witches and warlocks out there that are trying to take our lives. They are brujas. Those are witches in like the Spanish culture that literally people go to and they're like, I don't like that bitch Anaya A. Can you please tie her up somewhere? I don't like her. I don't like her family. I don't like this. I don't like that. I don't like. And so what they do is they put curses on you, and you don't even be knowing. You sitting there wondering, how did my life end like this? I was doing so well one minute. I was so strong. Remember the T-shirt? I was so strong one minute. I had so much going on for myself. How did my life get here? Or sometimes people that we are thinking that are our friends, our neighbors, our loved ones are feeding us certain things too. You know, a couple of months back, I want to say close to a year, whatever, I had this vision about somebody that I started to care for wholeheartedly. Like I respected and I respected a lot. And, you know, I really wanted to see the best for them because everything around them was so dark and murky and bad. And I'm like, how did this person end up in this situation? And then it hit me that maybe this person is being fed something that they're not supposed to be eating. Because sometimes, like I said, you could be getting fed something that you don't even know somebody is putting some kind of powder in, they're doing a curse over. Some women go as far as putting their period blood in certain foods, fam. You will never know. But this is why I had to come on today because somebody needs healing today, and you're going to get your healing. But you have to identify the problems and you have to be strong enough to say, enough is enough. And I don't want any more of this because my life is worth greatness. I'm better than this. I'm a beautiful person on the inside out. I'm a hard worker. I'm strong. I have a great future ahead of me. When you're able to identify all of those things. I know, sis. Sis says, I don't understand the evilness, just horrible. You'd be surprised what people do. You'd be surprised how people attack people and the innocent victim ends up in a situation that they are so unaware of, and they think they're living their best life 1 minute, and then they're down in the gutter the next, while the other person is rising up. They're going up to the next level. They're making that money. They're sitting there and, driving the newest cars, and they're just going through so many great things, while the next person that they're hurting is their life is in permanent trouble. It could be your mother and your father. Oh, let me talk to you about that. Some parents don't want their children. Some parents never wanted their children, but because the child got here, because somebody talked to them and was like, don't abort that child, keep that child. You never know tomorrow what tomorrow holds. That child may be something great. But secretly, that parent never even loved their children or loved their family's children more. The stuff I've been through, fam, I don't want to call my own parents out on blast this afternoon on the red carpet, but just know that I thank God for them, though. I thank God for my family. I thank God for my parents. I thank God for the madness. I thank God for the abuse, because had I not gone through it, I wouldn't know how to stand up today and fight back. I wouldn't be the person I am today to be able to break these generational curses and talk to you all, because some of you are going through it and you need clarity and you need answers and you need help and you need support. Had I not gone through it, I wouldn't know what to tell you, beautiful and sexy people. So, with that being said, I'm going to shut it down this afternoon, and I'm literally going to take my butt on to my next adventure. But in the interim, I wanted to remind you guys that you are free. You just have to take control of your situation. You are stronger than you thought. You're stronger than you think. If something is not appealing to you, if your situation is not appealing to you, you don't like what you're going through, you want to be free, you want to be out, you don't want to be in your circumstance anymore. First of all, identify the problem, make sure that you see clearly, and take action, because your life is worth it today. All right. And it's your girl and A with her little unicorn sing bye-bye, 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 beautiful people. I'll be back later for sure. In the interim, take control. Love you guys. You're welcome, LJ. I'll see you later. Bye.